Howdy y'all and welcome. Hope everybody's doing well out there so far. Let's go and get into what we could expect as we hit in October. But first, of course, you all know Walmart. They like to celebrate all three holidays all at once. They think we celebrate the holiday season all at one time. So it's Happy Fall Hallowed Thanksmas from Walmart. And here's me in October getting ready to carve that darn pumpkin. I'm ready for that, y'all. While I drink that pumpkin spice latte and get all spooky for y'all. Now, on to what we could expect as we head into the month of October and say goodbye to September. We're going to have to take a look at the global ensembles. This will take us all the way out towards the end of the month. Keep in mind, anything over a week out's virtually impossible to forecast. We cannot forecast the future, so take this forecast with a grain of salt. Now, I did have a forecast video up yesterday breaking down the GFS model, what we could expect for the next couple weeks, which will take us out towards the middle of the month, so go check that video out if you haven't done so already. We'll still cover it here in today's video, so don't worry. And we'll also cover that 50% Caribbean chance. It's still a 50% chance in the next 7 days. There is some major changes to that, by the way. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 500 millibrow height anomaly map. This shows us our troughs and ridges. If you don't know what that is, it's basically the yellows are associated with the ridge, usually associated with good weather and warmer weather. Troughs are usually associated with the bad weather and sort of cooler weather. As I rewind this and show y'all, it's looking like as we head into the month of October, it's looking like much of the country is going to be in a little bit of a ridge, which could mean we could be coming in on a drying pattern. If you saw in the thumbnail, much of the country is going to be pretty darn dry, except for much of the eastern half and northwest, and this is looking to be true. And of course, we're heading to the end of October, very uncertain when it comes to the models. It's looking like much of the eastern part of the country is going to be coming into a trough. Could be some cold temperatures here at the end of the month, while the rest of the country is going to be in a little bit of a, what could be a ridge. But now let's go and take a look at something we can trust, which is the Climate Prediction Center's monthly precipitation outlook for the month of October. It's looking like much of the country is going to be well below average, while the northwest and southeast and northeast is going to be well above average. So it's looking like we're going to be heading into a little bit of a drying pattern amongst the central part of the country, while the southeast and northwest are going to be a little bit above average. So definitely prepare for what could be another dry month, unfortunately, but this can change, so keep that in mind. And as we zoom in here, I did give y'all a sneak peek at the Climate Prediction Center's monthly outlook as far as precip goes. We can see that after we get past Helene, it's looking like much of the country is going to be well below average, except for up there in the northeast and northwest. And then as we head towards the end of the month, it's looking like much of the western part of the country is going to be a little bit above average. So get ready for what could be a very soggy November and a little bit of a cool November as well, as they showed a trough out here. But again, subject to change, keep that in mind, as the Climate Prediction Center was showing below average for part of the country and above average for the northwest and southeast and northeast. So now that I covered that, let's go and take a look at the temperature anomalies. Now this shows us our above and below average temperatures, by the way. Above average don't mean it's going to be hot, and below average don't mean it's going to be really, really cold. It just means a little bit below average this time of year. You can still be above average and still be freezing your tuchus off. But as we push this forward, we can see much of the eastern part of the country is going to be a little bit below average, as well as up here by Washington. But much of the central and western part of the country is going to be well above average as we head into the end of the month. It's looking like more of the country is going to be heading into below average temperatures, which typically in the end of October, cold anyway, so nothing new there. As we take a look at the monthly temperature outlook by the Climate Prediction Center, they're showing us that much of the southwest and northeast is going to be above average, while the rest of the country is going to be a little bit normal as far as temperatures go. Now down by Florida, it's going to be above average as well. So basically, prepare for what could be a dry and a little bit warm October for really much of the country, but for much of the southeast, northeast, northwest, could be a little bit soggy. No, this is subject to change, so keep this in mind, as anything over a week out is virtually impossible to forecast. Now, I did cover this yesterday, but let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS model, which will take us out into the middle of the month. And we can see Helene moving out slowly, and it caused a lot of problems in the past 3 days. There is some relief if y'all want to donate. Vince, Brandon, and Corey, and even Ryan's team have donations to help the victims of Helene. So go check those guys out and donate if you want to. It has pretty tough times right now because of inflation and all that garbage, but anything helps down there. And once Helene moves out, it's looking to be pretty darn dry for much of the country, so the ensembles were showing this on there. And look down here in the Caribbean, we have this 50% chance of tropical storm development. It's not looking like much now. Yesterday it was showing end of the world hurricanes. This is why we always say that the models typically like to print hurricanes and tropical storms this time of year and show into the world hurricanes. Don't trust all that garbage. Please rely on your local National Weather Service and National Hurricane Centers. They will guide you in the right direction, by the way. But regardless, I think it's going to just cause high winds and a lot of heavy rainfall down here in the Gulf Coast. So be aware of that if you live down there. But once we head past next weekend, it's looking like it's going to be still dry, but could be cool. See, we have a little bit of trough here, and it's looking like we could have a major cold front here at the middle parts of October, which could drop those temperatures down drastically. And it's looking like we are heading into a little bit of a soggy pattern as we head into the middle of October, though, so that's something to look forward to. And it's looking like we could have some snowfall up there in the higher elevations of the mountain west, so that's exciting. Now, there's really not much changed from yesterday's precipitation outlook by the Climate Prediction Center, although much of the eastern part of the country is going to be a little bit above average, while really the rest of the country is going to be feeling some dry conditions. As we head into the middle of October, really much of the same story. The southeast and northeast is going to be above average, while the Midwest is going to be near normal, and much of the country is going to be a bit below average. So we could be heading into a very dry October, unfortunately, y'all. So prepare for that. Although really much of summer 2024 has been pretty darn dry. It's looking like fall is going to be much of the same, unfortunately. So prepare for that. Now, of course, the temperatures, we got to take a look at that, of course. As we get past Sunday, it's looking to be warm, and then going down, warm back up. Basically, the I don't know what to wear kind of season, as I always say. But then watch as we head past Wednesday. It's looking like it's going to be pretty darn cold on Wednesday this week. We're heading past the first day of October. Really much of the same story, back and forth temperatures. But then watch as we head in the middle of the month, we could be heading into some drastically cold temperatures as this cold front starts to move through in the middle of the month. Now, keep in mind this will change, just like that 50% chance down in the Caribbean. And as we take a look at the temperature outlook, really not much change since yesterday's video. Much of the country is going to be above average as we head into the beginning weeks of October. But as we head into the middle of October, expect some really cold temperatures in the Midwest, but above average temperatures for really much of the country. Now, lastly, it's going to take a look at the tropics as we have this 50% chance of tropical storm formation down here in the Caribbean still. And we have the 60% chance next couple days in the main development region, as well as another chance out here just west of Africa. And of course, Joyce, we all know about that. It's not going to affect anybody. As we take a look at the Atlantic Basin here on the GFS, we can see Joyce out there doing the spinneroonie, as well as that 60% chance. Not expecting those to impact the lower 48 any, except for this 50% chance, as it's really not going to cause much impacts. Might cause heavy rainfall and high winds, like I said earlier. But watch out for this 60% chance, as it's not looking to affect the lower 48, and it's just looking to stall out over there in the Atlantic. Y'all may feel the impacts over here by Bermuda, though. So watch out for this here in the near term. But watch as that churns out into the Atlantic and becomes mainly a fish storm as we head into the middle of the month. And really after that, not much in the way of any sort of tropical storms or hurricanes, which is very good news. Now, as we take a look at the sea surface temperatures, we can see that Helene really did a number on those sea surface temperatures in the Gulf, but really still favorable conditions for hurricane and tropical storm development out there, as hurricane season lasts all the way from May into or so. Basically expect some dry and hot conditions here in the month of October, although much of the northwest, southeast, and northeast are going to be a little bit above average, but this is obviously subject to change, so keep this in mind, as anything over week out's virtually impossible to forecast. Now, lastly, let's take a look at the fall foliage. For the month of October, we can see that we're going to have some pretty good fall foliage up there in the Mountain West, as well as up there in the Northeast. Got some peak fall foliage as we head into October 1st. Then as we head towards the middle of the month, really much of the country is going to be getting in on that fall foliage. And in October, we're past peak foliage here at the Williams Weather headquarters here in southern Indiana. Really much of the country is going to be past peak. So if you're down there in the Smoky Mountains, the middle of October is peak fall foliage down there. So send me some fall foliage if you want to. Send it over my X and Facebook pages. I would greatly appreciate that. I'll have links in the description down below, and also take some pictures to share on social media as well. So go follow those pages to check that out as well. And I'll put them on here too sometime whenever we do get fall foliage. I'm not expecting the same fall foliage as we had last year, because last year we had some pretty good foliage, but this year it's been so dry that I think the leaves are just going to fall right on off. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you hit that like and share button so more folks are informed about the weather. Also, leave me some feedback in the comment section down below, as feedback helps me provide either viewer better or more informative content in the future. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because here at Weather Weather we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. So get out and enjoy this October, y'all. Get all spooky, drinking that pumpkin spice and hot apple cider and enjoying those fall leaves. And get ready to carve that pumpkin as well, and get ready for trick-or-treating, as spooky season is upon us, y'all. And prepare for what could be a dry and unfortunately warm October, unfortunately. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate all y'all for watching, and never stop forecasting.